Hello everyone and welcome to a little holiday whimsy. Today we're going to make a very simple garland. Now this garland is going to pretty much use the little tidbits and extras that you have laying around your craft stash. Last year I did this cute little version using bits of wool and beads that I had on hand. There we go. This year's version is going to be silver and white. So I have some silver beads and some white wool, and we're going to turn that into a cute little garland. Okay. All right, ready to go? For this project, you really are going to just use some scraps. In this bag, I have some of the scraps from the recent projects that you've seen. This is the white wool, and this is some of the red wool. Originally, I was going to use both. Then I decided I wanted to see what it was going to look like with just the white wool. So I'm going to pull out a section here and show you how I cut this. Stuff all these guys back inside. Now you're going to see why I really do save almost all of my scraps. Now you can do this any size you want. But I'm going quite small because I love garlands that fit on small trees or wreaths. And I'm pretty sure that goes back to childhood because I loved making little miniature trees. While the family had the big tree or some of the fun tree stories, I would create a tree out of whatever I could find. And I would often do that with some of the garlands and make myself little trees. All right, so literally all I did was cut in strips and cut in squares. Now my squares are turning out to be about 3/8 of an inch, so quite small. You could do much larger. You could easily do 1/2 inch, 1 inch squares, or even triangles if you wish, any shape. There we go. This is how quick this is. Nice, relaxing. Do this at the end of an evening, listening to an audiobook, or watching a little TV show. Clip. If anything, your hand will get tired. Okay, so you'll end up with a pile. Don't worry, I've got a much bigger pile coming. And I'm going to add to that some silver beads I have laying around. Now these little silver beads, I think are about 3 or 4 millimeters. Of course, like I said, you can use any size you want. You could use silver beads, gold beads, color beads. The beads I used last year, as I get all tangled here, are more of like a milk glass. Those I picked up at a yard sale. I remember that. Could have sworn I had more of those laying around, but it must be that I used them. Trying to organize a little bit of thread here that I got stuck on everything. So I'm just using the wool, the beads, and then you're going to need some thread. You can either use a couple layers of your regular sewing thread. Button thread would be wonderful. Crochet cotton, as long as you can get this to go through the holes of your beads if you're using beads. And today I'm actually just grabbing that embroidery floss I've been using. It's actually nice and strong, I find. Now, if you wanted to get even more creative, you could go with some wooden beads. You could add in some dried fruit. If you take orange peels, you can cut those into little squares or little circles as well. Dry them out, of course. They become really fragrant and kind of shrink in on themselves. So just be aware they will shrink a little bit. But orange, lemon, lime peels make some beautiful colors. Let's see, cranberries, of course. If you really wanted to, You could actually go get some of those packing peanuts. They're now a no-no here in New York, but if you have some that came in that aren't the dissolving kind, you could easily break those down into little balls to fake the popcorn. Just remember, if you do that, to use it inside rather than outside. All right, so I cut a little over an arm's length of my thread here, and I'm going to start off with a piece of my wool. This is really going to be easy. So what I'm going to do for this first one is really make kind of an anchor. So I'm going to come through this a couple of times. You may wish to leave a loop on the end if you want to make sure it goes around a branch of your tree. And I think I'm going to work in threes. So I'll do 3 pieces of wool and then 3 beads. So that first one plus 2 more. And I'm hoping that light's not too bright. And then I'll do 3 of my beads. And this will be the combination. There we go. So I'm just going to continue on 3 and 3. Get it stuck around my scissors. And again, nice, relaxing project. This is one you definitely could do with some of your kids, grandkids, a little bit bigger pieces, of course, if you have younger ones. If you're using bigger pieces, you could use one of those blunt embroidery needles, bigger beads, good felted wool, or I think even a craft felt will let a blunted needle go through. Or you have the adult pre-punch the centers of the materials. Now you'll notice on this little piece of wool, I'm kind of at an angle. I just kind of like how that turns out. Gives a little more dimension. I think this is going to make a really cute garland. Like I said, for me, this will probably be for a wreath or a small tree. Oops. Let's see how many of these I dropped during this. Now, I was thinking yesterday that I should get out one of the small trees to have next to the videos. And we can decorate the little tree as we do the videos. Now you can see just those few pieces, that 2 strips that I cut on camera, it gives a nice length. So in these few minutes, we're at what? 5.5, now 6 inches. Now, if you really wanted to make some of your own beads, I've been watching videos on spun cotton. I don't know how I missed this before, but I'm fascinated with spun cotton. And you could make beads with spun cotton. Literally, it's just the cotton fluff and some glue. Now, one of the women I've been watching uses scrap cottons from around her house. So like the packing cottons from inside of vitamin bottles. And yep, there goes that one. And she uses that and extra little bits of batting. What a brilliant idea. There is cotton, of course, made specifically for the craft. You can get that through your regular craft venues. And it is, from my understanding, a finer cotton, longer staples. But watching the videos, I gotta say, doesn't look to be that much of a difference for the more amateur pieces. And when I say that, there are some figures out there. Whoops! I'm sorry, I did that again. Gotta stay on camera, Anna. But there are some figures out there that are fascinating. Just amazing. So I'm picturing making little spun cotton beads. And they could be white in their natural state, or it turns out you can dye them and paint them. So you could see how little white cotton balls on a garland with maybe some holly leaves in between would be amazing. Yeah, now I'm picturing that. That might have to happen. All right, as you see, I am out of those pieces. Don't worry, I have a whole bag full. Okay. So I've been working away for what, 5 minutes here? And I've got, I'm going to say half, oops, sorry. I have about a half yard of my garland going. Not bad. And as you can tell, I have plenty of wool left in my little bag. So I'm going to guess that my little, oh, is this a quart or a pint? About an 8-inch by 8-inch bag is going to last me for a couple yards of garland, which is nice. I would anticipate if you were using, say, 1-inch size pieces, that a full bag of wool pieces and a cup or so of beads will get you a few yards of garland. This is a nice calming little craft. Even the sound of the beads. As you can tell, I keep pulling my hands closer and closer to my face. I apologize for that. Apparently, I work very close to my face when I sew. right, so I am going to let you all go here. I'm going to keep on going on my new little garland. Show you again the one I did last year. I think they're lovely. Lots of fun. Easy to do. Relaxing evening project or a good kid project. I hope you enjoyed this one. I have a few more in mind, and I will see you all soon. Thank you.